So refreshing sounding.
Mm-hmm. Is that all right if I put this here?
Yeah, bro.
All
Here,
right, cool.
let me move my shit. I'm all up in your way.
No, you're good.
All right. All right. Mr. Julian Edwards. Where'd Kid Zim come from?
Kid Zim came from two of my favorite. One's a cartoon character, one's an anime character. I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
So you know Kid Buu?
No.
So Kid Buu is like one of the third villain's forms.
Okay.
The Majin Buu series. He was a character. The reason why I liked him, resonated with him, during growing up, I resonated with a lot of characters like that because, like, believe it or not, I was a huge introvert. Like, huge.
Yeah, I can
Like,
relate
I was
to that.
quiet, geeky, still am in some aspects, but now it's like, I guess it's called an amnivert, where you're like introvert with like extrovert attributes or something like that, or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck.
You're a human.
Yeah. That. I use the term alien. It's like, it's a weird fucking complex.
We all kind of are.
Yeah. So with that, I resonated with him because he couldn't talk. He was like Hulk, where he was just like mumble, or he would make grunts and sounds,
Yeah.
but he was powerful as fuck.
Okay.
And he was just wrecking everything. Like, he was wrecking Goku, he was wrecking Vegeta, he was about to destroy the world. And everyone was cheering for Goku, of course, to win. But for me, I'm looking at this dude. This dude's a kid. Like, he's goofy, he's dancing, he's giggly. Like, while he's wreaking havoc, he's just doing all this crazy stuff. And that's why I was like, okay, this is fucking dope.
So you saw him more like kind of like an anti-hero as opposed to like a villain.
Yeah, I feel like if terms came around, like if they redid it, he could be definitely like that anti-hero. So, and then Zim came from the cartoon Invader Zim.
I don't know
That showed years ago on Nickelodeon. It was just this alien invader, literally.
Yeah.
No one liked him. Out of all the aliens, he was the worst invader to conquer planets or whatever. So they tried to get rid of him by sending him as far as fuck to Earth. And he's thinking in his head, it's an elite mission, only for special ones.
Oh, shit. That sounds uber familiar.
So he goes into this. He blends in with the school. There's one human being that believes he's an alien and knows it.
Yeah.
Called Sid or Dib or whatever his name was. And his goal is now to, like, expose Zim for what he is, while Zim's trying to conquer the Earth. And Zim's so stupid, he keeps on fucking failing, but he thinks he's succeeding. And when he reports into like these like overlords, they keep on getting tired of fucking seeing him.
Oh, really?
So for me, it's like, I could relate, because he used to call people like idiotic humans, and it's like he just goes around thinking he's doing something when really he's just not fucking doing shit.
He's not doing anything.
And I just resonated with those two characters. So it's like,
I can dig that.
and I actually got suspended for a week from school because I dressed up like Invader Zim. I called my teacher idiotic human. I was so So like,
How
I
old were you
took
at
what
this
he
time?
literally said, and she was like, "You need to do better on your test." And I was like, "Silence, idiotic human!" And yeah, detention and then suspension. And it was like,
How old
Zim
were you?
got stuck with. I was like, I want to say like 10, like 9 or 10.
Oh, shit.
It was like maybe even 8. It was like a while. Whenever that cartoon was around, that was the age.
That is not when, yeah, either way, anywhere in that age range, no adult is going to just take that.
Yeah, no one. And I learned that lesson quickly, but it was like, that name stuck with me for a little bit. Not too many people called me it,
Yeah.
but everyone calls me like Jules. But like, when I started to like come up with a name, I wanted something that resonated, and it kind of like, I don't know where it popped up. Like, I guess there was a leak that the cartoons were being revamped at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Like, Dragon Ball Z was being Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was the whole reanimation of the whole original series, and then Zim was like the trailer for the movie was being leaked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool, Kid Zim. All right. You know,
So I can dig it.
I work with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I feel so behind. Like, as far a whole generation of kids grew up on Dragon Ball Z. I was in that generation, except I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z. Like, I'm familiar with it.
It's
but
the same thing with, like, for me in that generation too, was like the Inuyasha and the like Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was like, I was in and out of those.
Yeah.
And I was more focused on Dragon Ball Z. So like, people bring those to me, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking
I don't know what
about.
you're talking about. So, like, my little brother, he's into Dragon Ball Z. I'm just like, man, I really appreciate the art of, like, anime. And, dude, like, they do some of the most amazing, like, martial arts scenes in anime. And I really appreciate that. Like, some of my favorite movies are, like, Afro Samurai.
Oh, that's a classic, bro.
Dude.
That is, for an animation, it is too detailed and too good.
You think so?
I think, in a sense, we're not in a negative, but I mean, like, to where anyone who says they don't fuck with anime or cartoons, I could put them down to watch that, and they'll be like, holy fuck.
Yeah, go watch that.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I've done it before. Like, it's like right up there with like, oh, what are you watching all this cartoon and anime for? And I just literally pull up Afro Samurai or Attack on Titan, and they're just like, whoa.
Yeah, dude, it's some next level shit.
Yeah.
So like, I can totally appreciate the art, but man, that shit gets deep.
I tell people like they'll be looking at us like, you watching cartoons? I'm like, and it's this is a Weibo thing. It's like very deep anime nerds things. Well, we'll get pissed off if you call it cartoons, but the reason why we separate is because yes, it's a cartoon. Let's be real. It's an animation, which counts as a form of cartoon, or cartoons is a form of animation.
In a very technical
sense. But what
separates
it is because the diversity, even the comedies, are so in depth in story and expression and dramatic without exaggerating too much of the character.
Okay.
And then even with action animes, like they stick to their script. Like if it's action and intense, you're not going to see like the goofy giant faces or whatever. You know what I mean? And the expressions are so detailed. And I usually watch them subs. So like with the subtitles, because Japanese voice actors actually express it way better in some of these animes than American voice actors. Like to where you watch it and you can hear when they're going depth in their voice, or they're going high pitch for like an aggressive scream or a blood curdling scream or something like that.
Like they really get theatrical.
And the stories, they spend a lot of time. And some of these animes that are out and they end at 12 episodes actually go longer in the manga, and the mangas are just like literally, even though it's all like a graphic novel, it's literally you'll be caught up and you're like so in depth, you're just like, whoa, this could actually be a scripted book.
Yeah. So you said manga? What is that?
It's like a comic book, but instead of reading from left to right, you read from right to left.
Oh.
And it's all black and white.
Why do you read right to left? Is it because
I think that's just how they read it up there when they're made. I guess it's a cultural thing. I think that's how like when they write transcripts or something. I don't know.
Are they from like Japan or China?
Japan, usually.
Okay.
Or whoever makes the anime usually makes a manga. But they're flipped when they come to America. Sometimes they keep them original for authenticity sake.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay. I'm just learning so much right now, dude. It gets so fucking deep. Do you like dress up and go to like any like the Comic Cons or anything?
I've done it before. I want to call myself a cosplayer because to respect to the craft, I haven't done it enough.
Okay.
And I've never really actually, I feel like to be a cosplayer, respectively, you have to at least one time build your costume from scratch.
Oh, I can respect that.
You know what I mean? Not like order, because if you order, that's a Halloween costume.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And cosplayers, they take this literally seriously. You know what I mean? These dudes spend months
or
on
years
months
even
to build like these art pieces, and literally like some people look at it as weird, but I just have respect for anyone in period in the artistic form. I see it as a form of art
100%.
and expression. You know what I mean? Because like you got to think about it, the detail into some of these things and time it takes and dedication and like patience to haul it to the event. And then on top of that, they're inspiring to whoever's at the event. You never know. Like there's people that look up to cosplayers because these cosplayers are like introverts themselves, or going through trauma, or dealing with hardship. And the stories, if you listen to why they got into it, is really they attach themselves to a character and then they relate to that character, and instead they personify it upon themselves. So for one day out of the week or whatever, they can just be free and be that character and feel more encouraged. It's like crazy.
Right, yeah, whether that be like they want to be stronger, or they want to be brave, or they want to be admired, like they see those qualities and it makes them that.
Yeah.
So who cares if it comes from like this fictional place? Like there's so much art, like artistry in that world.
Oh yeah.
Dude, just to try to source the material for some of that shit.
I tried it, and this is where it's like I'm a person where I never want to be a jack of all trades, because like there are some times where you're just itching to try something.
Yeah.
And you just have to hand it off and be like, respect to you. Like
100%.
when I went, and even the beginner time, I remember going on YouTube and typing cosplay for beginners 101. And that's where I learned like the whole respect of where you can technically call yourself a cosplayer if you dress up to a character and you order this well done costume online, which some cosplayers still do. But every cosplayer that is major and really one has at least made their own costume one time.
At least once.
And I've never done that. So like for me, it was like, I was just like, when I looked into it, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to take a week, lead up, maybe make 2 weeks, stitch up some stuff. No, like they literally told me in the video, like, if you want to do this right and you're a beginner, you're going to at least want 3 to 4 months in prep time to the event you're going to show up at. I was like, holy fuck.
Oh, wow.
Like
that's hell of like prep time, dude.
Like I'm fucking barely prepping a day ahead of the scripts that I read every day. So it's like, damn.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do you like draw or anything? Like
I used to. I'm getting back into it. Funny story why I stopped drawing. Art was my first ever form of art. Before the gaming, before the dance, no one really knows this. Actually, no one actually really knows this away from my actual family. It's like I used to just draw religiously.
Okay.
And I was looking to be an artist, the whole nine. Like I had all the art books. But my godmother at the time, we're no longer connected, but my godmother at the time, she was very, very religious. I don't know if she was Jehovah's Witness or whatever it was or whatnot.
She was into it.
But she was very like the work of the devil type, you know what I mean? So whenever I would draw Dragon Ball Z characters or whenever I draw Pokemon characters or whenever I draw a dragon, it was automatically the work of the devil.
Oh, wow.
And she wouldn't just say it. She would snatch it and rip it. And then I'd be punished, like physically punished for it. So it became a fear.
Crazy person.
Oh, yeah. And then it became a fear for me to draw. You know what I mean? So like after a while, I just stopped. And last time I ever actually drawed something out of passion was like I was maybe like 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, no, like I was 10. I was actually 10 because I just graduated 5th grade. Yeah, I was like 10, 11.
That would make you want to quit doing it,
So
dude.
I stopped, and then it was just like gave up on it. You know what I mean? And then like that's a craft you have to keep going at to get better and better. And like, sure, I still retain some. Like I can mimic an image easy.
Yeah.
But my original creativity, gone.
Really?
Yeah. It's like barely there with like when I'd have like a creative logo design or something. But then I don't have the passion for it anymore. So I'll get like 2 minutes into it, 5 minutes, and I'll just put it down and never finish.
It's definitely one of those crafts like you just got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it.
And you got to have a real passion for it to even get those pieces done. Like I have pieces that are like incomplete from like a year ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like you just kind of started it and you're just like, move on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I appreciate this, like the whole like Japanese and like Asian culture and just a lot of the art that comes out of there. Like I'm a big movie guy. So I love, like, I have to be in the mood to sit down and like read the subtitles. When I am though, I'll bust through like 6, 7 movies, no problem, just all subtitles. And they have some of the best stories. Like I absolutely love the choreography because a lot of them do have usually some martial arts choreography. Yeah. But like the stories, dude, some of the best fucking stories, far better than even like American movies. It's some crazy shit. So I can understand like why you'd be drawn to like the anime. Yeah. And like that whole culture. Are you into martial arts or anything?
Yeah. I have a tie to martial arts. I'm not currently doing it, but like martial arts had a tie into it. Actually, anime led into me doing martial arts.
Oh, okay.
I used to take karate, then I took jiu-jitsu when I was a kid.
Nice.
And then after a while, it was more of a discipline thing. It was like the punishment was I actually got an F on my report card or a D, and the punishment was karate or ballet. So
they both actually work out, to be honest with you.
But you got to remember, I'm like in a white neighborhood.
Yeah.
So like a black kid doing ballet, I was like, I'm going to do karate.
Of course, you got to do karate.
So I did karate, and I ended up falling for it. I went to all the camps and everything. I think when I moved, I was last left as a blue belt or a purple belt with a black stripe in karate. And then I don't remember the color, like whatever the layout was for jiu-jitsu. I know I didn't go far in that. Yeah. It was like because balancing the two classes was like crazy because they're two different fight styles.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu, so like I'm well aware of that. I did karate as a kid, but it's just one of those things, man. Where are you from?
Originally from Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, born in Daytona, Florida.
Yeah, I don't know if it was maybe like a post that you made or it had to have been a post that you made.
It was probably a post that I made.
But you're like talking about like how you were bounced around a little bit. Like,
I bounced around a lot. I was born in Daytona, Florida, spent the first 12 years there, and then my mom left me in Jamaica for 6 years.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So you lived in Jamaica for 6 years?
Yeah. It was a thing where...
It wasn't something you wanted to sound like you got left there.
No. I mean, it ended... I would not change it for the life of me because if I ended up living with my mom, I would tell everybody this, I'd be a spoiled little piece of shit.
Really?
I know it.
Why is that?
Because she was a doctor. She was...
Oh, she has money?
Oh, yeah. She had money. I tell everybody, I had money. My mom had money.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Who'd she leave you with in Jamaica?
I don't even know the person. Like it was.
Wasn't like a family member.
No, it was a family. It was okay. So it was a family friend, her son's girlfriend. It was like a whole. Yeah, it was one of those like cousin of an auntie of an auntie of an uncle of uncle of auntie of. It was one of those.
Wow.
And no, this family friend she hadn't talked to prior for like 6 years.
How old were you when you got left there?
I was 12. I just turned 12.
So from 12 to like 18, you were there.
From March 2000, I don't remember the exact date, but I got dropped off in the country, March 2006. How my mom got me there, we were having a lot of back and forth. So at this time, my mom had pulled me out of school. She was homeschooling me. Her version of homeschool was a National Geographic's kid notebook one page of a math, like, you know those old math, like, where you tear all the pages, practice books?
Yeah.
And that was my school day for like 3 hours, and then I worked in the yard from that until she came back home in the evening.
Oh, wow.
So that was like 8 hours of my day was like raking leaves.
And she's a doctor who's went through university and done all this shit. Very educated, I'd
This
imagine.
is where people like get their mind fucking flipped.
It's blowing me the fuck away right now.
And then my two sisters, I have two younger sisters that were still going to school.
Okay.
And when they came home, they had to hope in the yard for like an hour or so. So, no, I was on punishment, and my punishment at the time is I had to sleep in a sleeping bag on the patio. So all my meals, I was locked on there. So, like, all my stuff, like, I wasn't allowed to socialize with my sisters. I couldn't talk directly to my sisters. It was fucking crazy, man. So, like, if we wanted something, like, if we're in the year, it's a weekend, and we're both raking up the yard, but we want the other one to pass, like, the trash bags, we had to vaguely talk, like, I hope Selena passed the trash bags. And then they caught on to that, and then we just couldn't say shit to each other. But I had to sleep on a patio, sleep in a sleeping bag. I had a time limit of when I could eat my food.
What?
So, like, they would give me the food, and they said you have 3 minutes to eat all the food.
Who's they?
My mom and my godmother.
Oh.
Yeah, my godmother was the one leading the charge. Like,
and this is the one we talked about earlier who's all about God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My godmother leaded the charge. My family likes to say she brainwashed them. I'm like, this is a grown-ass woman. Like,
grown-ass people be brainwashed, bro.
I don't know what happened, but I know my mom leading up to, like, from age, like, 9 to 12 was, like, Brenda's her name. Brenda became in charge of everything. When we needed to move, we decided to move to Brenda's cottage, which took us from where I got accepted to the middle school I wanted to go to with all my friends, and now I'm moving to New Smyrna Beach, an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And restarting my life there. And now I'm going to public school, and I get 1D, and then I get pulled out and homeschooled. And
because of a D?
Yeah, D. Not a F, a D.
D for devil, bro.
Bro, I bet you that's what she said.
Work of the devil.
I don't know. She talked to Brenda, showed her the report card, and the next thing you know, I'm getting pulled out of school the following week.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, your mom was for sure brainwashed.
Dude,
for sure. I mean, that's what cults are, right? That's what
dude,
Scientology is.
Dude.
It's fucking
I don't know what happened, but she fucking did it. And it was a thing where.
Holy shit.
I remember dealing with that where she would say, you have 3 minutes, and whatever was on the plate. And no, I didn't have anything to drink. So they wouldn't give me anything to drink till after. So I'm just working in the yard all day.
So
I barely have anything in my mouth, like saliva-wise, whatever, and I'm trying to eat these meals, and they would take whatever. I remember sneaking out, and this is how bad, but, like, I'm just very transparent. Like, this is how bad it was. I snuck out and circled around to where I got into the trash can to get what was left.
What?
Late at night. Like, I would sleep and wake up to make sure everyone else was asleep, and then I would do that.
So you just couldn't come into the house, but that you still had that.
I could only come into the house to bathe whenever they would tell me to.
How old were you at this time?
I was
10, 11?
This was it lasted about a year. So it was like 10, me turning into 11, turning into 12.
And nobody calls DFS.
I actually ran away 3 times during this time.
Oh, wow.
So the cops picked me up. What happened was I ran away once with my sleeping bag. I remember I stole a bunch of candy from Kmart, peanuts, whatever I could, put them in my sweats, toys, whatever, just to get away. I ran away. Literally, I got dropped off the school bus. I went in. I don't remember what the argument was. She grabbed my bag. I took it off, and I dipped. And then I came back later that night for my sleeping bag. And then I left again. Then I was at a washing mat where the lady used to be kind to me whenever we'd go to the washing mat, the laundry mat.
Yeah.
And she noticed that I was here really late, and I told her what was happening. Then she called the cops, and I was very timid. Like, I was a flight risk. Like, the cops came up to me very slow. Like, she fed, like, you know, you see an animal and you feed it and then you pick it up and catch it?
Yeah.
That's basically what she did to me. Like, she gave me a burger, and then the cops showed up, and I was immediately, like, looking, like, ready
you're on edge.
Yeah. And they pulled me. They asked me questions. They looked at me. They saw a couple scars here and there, and they were like, what happened here? And I told them, like, I used to get beaten. I got beaten with a hose, a coat hanger, the whole nine, with a bungee cord, all of that. I was just being honest. I was telling them what was going on.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we're going to take you home. And I started to freak out because I'm like, I can't go back. I can't go back. So they kept me at the station, and they put on, like, some cartoons, and everyone was talking to me. The cops were talking to me and stuff like that. And then we finally pulled up to the house, and my mom wasn't there. My mom was at work. But apparently they called her ahead of time because I told her how my sisters stay in the house by themselves while Miss Brenda's in her house, which is in the same plot of yard. It's in this, like, literally just you can walk across
The guest
it.
house.
Yeah. But still, like, you can't do that technically. It's, like, against the law because these kids are, like, my sister was, like, 9 or 8 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. But they were there, and I told them, like, yeah, they're in the house by themselves. And that's where she does. She goes there, and then Miss Brandon's next door. She's like, okay, we're going to go over there. They called my mom ahead of time to ask her questions and say, we have your son here, which is protocol, of course.
Yeah.
But I know for sure, now that I'm older looking back, how she got away with certain things, because at that time I couldn't process it. But now looking back, them calling her gave her time to call Brenda to grab my sisters and put her next door with her.
Right.
So when they pulled up, they were already inside with her, the whole 9 story. We don't know. They told them that I just left that day. I didn't leave 2 days before when I was on the street for about 2 days, and no one reported me missing, and you have a 24-hour to do it.
Yeah.
And then it was just their word against mine, and it was a whole thing of me being timid and having scars. They moved everything that I knew where it was placed from what they used to beat me with, and everything was shifted. Everything was moved. Everything was hidden. And I was like, what the,
Yeah.
And to me now, I'm just thinking like, now I'm stuck. I'm trapped. And they said, all right, we're going to call in the morning. And if he still wants to not be here, we're going to send someone, child services, someone to take him away or whatever. My mom sends me out in the yard all day that day. And I'm listening for the phone to ring through like being outside. And I hear it and it picks up. And I'm waiting for her to call me in. She doesn't call me in.
Yeah.
I wait 1 day, caretakers don't show. I wait day 2, caretakers don't show. Day 3, caretakers don't show. At that time, I processed, I don't know what the fuck she told him.
Yeah.
But she told him something that made him get off her back.
Right, whatever she needed to say.
But then next thing you know, not even a week later, they're talking about, where would you like to go? Would you like to go see your cousin Joseph? I had a cousin named Joseph in Massachusetts. And whenever I was with him, I never gave him trouble. I was never misbehaved because he was my best friend. Like I just felt free when I was there because I was away from them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I do. And I'm thinking they're forgiving me and they're being nice to me, that they're going to let me move over to Massachusetts and all this whole 9. So I get all prepared and excited to go see my cousin and think I'm going to move to Massachusetts and stuff like that, start a whole new this. By this time, I'm 12.
Yeah.
And during that period was like the whole very dark, abusive situation where it was, I tell people like the stuff I went through as a kid with them, like no child should ever go through. Like
no, absolutely not.
Me and my sisters would have to discipline ourselves.
In what way?
In a sense where if I did something wrong, my sisters would have to beat me, and if they did something wrong, I would have to beat them.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Wow, and they just
watched. And it grew a hate between us,
right?
Like a very strong hate.
Yeah.
Like we all hated each other.
You have 2 sisters?
Yeah, I have 2 twin sisters, yeah. More so them over against me because after I left, it was just the 2 of them. But
shit, I can only imagine that.
It was bad, man. It was really bad. Like we're good now. Like we all reconnected and found each other over this past 2-3 years, which has been good and all of that.
Right.
But like it was insane to think about. Like we're 12 and 11.
Yeah, you can't really process what's going on.
Exactly.
Not from a rational
And all we can
mind.
do is just direct it who's actually giving us pain.
Right.
So like instead of me being mad at her for giving her the belt to hit me, I'm just mad at my sister.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just crazy, and there was a whole thing where it was a whole 9 of other stuff, like very dark sexual stuff. This is where I started to think of it as a cult, like your point where it was to a point where one day I showed up from school and they're talking about my old caretaker, Miss Lorna. This was years ago. I haven't talked to Miss Lorna though. Says, oh, what were you doing your sister a while back? I was like, what?
What are you talking about?
And I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, they said you and your sister were doing the thing. We, to this day, now that I'm older, I know what the thing is, but that's how they used to refer it, to the thing or the feeling. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And me and my sisters would be oblivious to what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
But they would be, it was a sense where they would mentally fuck us to where we're like, they said you did this in this exact way and direct us to doing these sexual things. And then be like, isn't this what you did? And because we're not trying to get hit, we're just like, yeah, this is what we did. And we're just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only that, it built a disgust between me and my sister, especially me and Selena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like shocking. Like not too many people know about this, but it was like a thing where I shouldn't be naked in the same room as my sister. Like we shouldn't be this close. Like it was just disgusting. And like looking back, like these people were sick.
Oh, for sure, bro.
And it built a disgust, a hate to just my siblings. Like I literally hated them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like when you're that age and like you're just trying to like you don't really know a whole lot of like what's going on, right?
Yeah,
like most 12-year-olds, like you're just thinking about playing video games or, just like hanging out with friends. Like, you're not really thinking about the grand scale of like, why is this person doing this to me or like
No,
making me do this? Like, you can't really make sense of that
not at all.
situation, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just good to see that because, in a sense, when I say good to see that now, because now I understand things.
Right.
And it makes such a respect to it. So where all of this stuff, like, as fucked up as it is,
Yeah.
I would not change what had happened to me because, one, I would, of course, be a different person, but the respect I have and the non-tolerance I have for people that, one, non-tolerance for people who like to throw up their circumstance as it's the end of the world, they can't get past it,
Yeah.
to where what I have seen and been through, whether me going through it myself or seeing it or knowing of someone getting through it, from 12, just the ages of 10 to 12, and then coming out to where I am now,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's hard to have sympathy or empathy for people whenever you've gone through some really challenging shit, and you're like, look, man, I've seen hell and I've made it through it. Like, get over your shit.
Yeah, like I can relate, you know what I mean, and understand, and I can be like, I get it at first, I understand, but once you try and you just literally see this person just is like refusing and keeps throwing this up as a wall, as a reason, and isn't even trying, that's where you're just like,
Yeah, that's just a victim mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like, fuck that victim shit. Like, get that out of here. You
know what I
cannot
mean?
ever be a victim, right? You always have a choice to make
Always.
to make something happen, for sure. So then, what was Jamaica like? Was it
Jamaica was like,
better living
it was way
circumstances?
better in a sense of there were still tough times.
Yeah.
I moved between 4 or 5 different homes.
Okay.
Because my mom would give me to a caretaker, pay them, stop paying them, and then they would give up and hand me off to the next. And then she would find another one, pay them for a little bit, then hand me off to the next.
Yeah.
So I went through the span of like 4 or 5 families.
Oh wow.
Yeah, first one was like I said, the family friend's son's girlfriend. Then it was a pastor and her husband who's a bishop. And then it was the family friend's son's baby mama.
Oh.
Yeah, the girlfriend and the baby were completely separate, but they both lived in Jamaica, only 15 minutes away from each other.
Wow.
Crazy.
Holy cow.
And then lastly, it was, I don't know the connection to this day between Ms. Kerr, and I call her like one of my moms to this day.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to her in a while, but it's like when I do reconnect, I want to be able to actually help her financially and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with her, that place changed me. Well, that's where my actual mentality change started, was there.
Okay. Why so?
Because she was the first person to, not the first person to not take my shit, but to throw it back at me and let me understand, like, you're here for a fucking reason, whether you directly or indirectly did something. And I was 13 when I got to her. I was 13, 14, and she was telling me this. And this woman, I mean, I stole from her daughter. I called the cops on her. I ran away. I lied. I did anything under the fucking blue moon.
You're probably a difficult kid.
Oh, I was fucking.
I mean, for a reason, right? Like, you're just kind of a product of the circumstances.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was like, I don't like to use that as why, but like, yes, all of that built up. I had a lot of built up. Like, I had the intent to kill my mom.
Oh, really?
At the age of 13, I had the intent to kill my mom and my 2 sisters.
Oh, shit. So
that's how much hate I had.
You hated everybody.
I hated everybody.
Just filled with rage.
Everybody. Like, there were, of course, moments I'd laugh and joke, but when I had, like, my mind to myself, I was crazy suicidal and I was crazy, murderous intent.
Oh,
like, people
shit.
were like, if you saw your mom right now, what would you do? I literally remember saying I would throw a rock at her fucking head.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was very bad. And that woman was the first person to get rid of a lot of that anger and help redirect it.
She just kind of helped that whole transformation.
And there were times where she would yell at me, but she never once. All the other caretakers lay their hands on me, except for the pastor lady, of course. But, like, all the other 2
Don't say, of course, like a pastor lady.
I don't know. Jamaican pastors are different. Like, they'll discipline you, like a hand slap. I don't really count as hitting. Okay. But, like, the other ones, they would, like, slap me in my face. Like, I'd go to school with, like, claw marks and whatever and whatnot. But Ms. Kerr, for her, like, no matter what I did, she lost, like, friends she's been friends with, like, 20, 30 years because they kept saying, you need to get rid of this bad kid. Like, down there in Jamaica, bad kids are shunned upon to where it's like, if you don't you don't keep a bad child.
Oh, really? Do they
Yeah.
have like? I know in like South America they'll have like just fucking gangs of kids who live in the streets. Do they have that in Jamaica? Because I mean, everybody when you hear Jamaica, you're like, oh,
You don't
fucking
really see
beaches and
kids living in the streets. You more see kids like rolling up as gangs, actual
right,
gangs,
yeah, like living together, like somewhere.
type of stuff. So you see a
Yeah.
couple of them here and there. It wasn't really prominent.
Okay.
It's more like if a kid was disciplined, he's gone.
Okay.
No one really know where they went, but we know it's like probably like to a disciplinary place or whatever.
Okay.
Or he got his butt beat till literally he got straight.
Yeah.
But especially being a foreign kids are automatically seen as trouble.
Oh, really?
Because we're seen as privileged and spoiled, which to a T, you can't blame them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
majority of the American society is like seen as that.
Well, even some of like you can be pretty poor here and still be better off than in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of poverty in Jamaica.
There is a lot. Like it was tough. Like there was that humbled me a lot. It made me have a lot of respect for a lot of things. And with her, with Kurt, she was the one that was like, listen, you need to not to have that in you. You know what I mean? She kind of brought God back into my life too.
Yeah.
I was a person where I literally, you couldn't get me to go into a church for the life of me.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time she tried to take me to church, and it's this big church. And note, this is a night service, so this is going to be like a good hour or two. I stood outside the church the whole 2 hours.
I probably would have did that too today.
I refused to go in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone else was looking at me like the demon. She didn't look at me that way. For me, it was like, no matter what I did, she would, of course, yell at first, but then she would calm down and come back and find me and then be like, you're going to be great one day. You're going to do something good. You just got to get through this.
Yeah.
And I found it fucking weird.
Yeah, she showed you love and understanding.
And I'm like, first of all, I just stole your daughter's laptop that she needed for school that her brother sent from the U.S.
Oh, shit.
And just fucked it up.
You're ruthless, bro.
Bro?
You were
Listen,
ruthless.
if I didn't have it and I thought I wanted it, I'd fucking get it. Man,
Didn't matter how.
It was bad. I was literally complete 360 of what I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you got real positive energy, man. Like,
if you met me between the years of 2006 and 2007, I radiated just hate, death. You would have been like, whoa, this kid, no.
Yeah, like you're gonna be.
You could see it in my eyes. I'm just either ready to snap on somebody, or I'm not ready to be here on this planet.
Just full of anger.
Just full of it. And for her, like, she was the first person that I actually trusted again in that mom figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She talked to me a lot. She introduced me to her family, her friends. You know what I mean? Of course, she would punish me, and she would punish me severely. You know what I mean? Not physically, but like actually to where I had a respect for her to where if she told me I couldn't leave, I wouldn't leave. It wasn't like I couldn't get out because I could find a way out of anywhere.
You just respected her.
I just respected her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it grew to where a point where I remember one time we were at dinner, and she pointed this out to me. She was like, how do you feel about your mom? I'm like, if I see her right now, I'll just be like, I don't care.
That's progress.
And for her, she was like, did you hear what you said? I was like, what? She said, you just don't care. And she pointed out to me, like, my anger started to shift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I started to, like, see things in a more positive light. And then I discovered dance during that time. During the time of me running away and whatever, I was there. I went to Ascot High School, which is a very performing arts dominant high school.
Okay.
We're known as, like, one of the best dancing schools in the country, I think even in the Caribbean.
Oh, nice.
So I got into the dance program. And then my dance teacher I saw as a father figure. And that's where I kind of, like, drifted away from, because hip-hop wasn't prominent out there. So it's more like reggae, dancehall, African folk, modern.
Yeah.
And with that, it taught me a lot of like expression and this and that. And then that's where my dance side really arrived. Because like when I was a kid, we used to do like back in the U.S., we used to do like little concerts on Sundays and stuff. We'd learn a song and then we'd perform it on a Sunday. But then that really solidified that performing arts side of me.
Yeah.
And I performed in front of a stage of people. I went to JCDC, which is like their national competition.
Oh, nice.
And I think we won trophy for like reggae dance, dance hall dance, and stuff like that. We were pretty awarded. And then I fell out with Miss Kerr leading up to like me going to U.S. Embassy and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? The whole 9 of back and forth, whatever.
Like trying to get back into the States?
Yeah. So that was the toughest part where this woman, and this is why I have mad respect for her. I wouldn't be in the U.S. if it wasn't for her. I'd still be stuck in Jamaica. Because when my mom dropped me off, she dropped me off right. I think there was a law where kids could travel out of the country with or without. I don't remember what it was. But I know when I got there.
You had no passport.
I was stuck. I had no passport.
Oh.
So the only thing I was left with like an old immunization record and my birth certificate.
At least you had that.
You know what I mean? But to the U.S. Embassy, that couldn't prove anything because I didn't know my Social Security.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't have a photo to match me to my identity that I'm saying of who I am.
Right. Oh,
so
wow.
It was a whole year process of traveling back and forth from the U.S. Embassy to where we lived, which was an hour and a half away. And this is done on public transportation, so this is expensive.
Yeah.
Because, like, public transportation, just 20 minutes is a lot of money, much less an hour and a half away, to and from 2 times a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So over the span of a year, they went track down my mom. They went down, track down who I am. They had to dig my 5th grade yearbook photo to match, because that's the only form. That was the last form of, like, physical photo identity I had.
Oh, wow.
Because remember, my mom pulled me right out of 6th grade before I could even take photos.
Oh, shit.
So there was none of that.
Yeah.
So they had to go to 5th grade, dig up my yearbook photo, ask me my teacher's name, the whole questionnaire. I'm still like probably like by this time I think I just hit like 18 at this time. And we're leading up to that. And they match it and all this. And then they're like, all right, we're going to send you out by October on a temporary passport back to the U.S. And the only reason I was able to do that is because this woman borrowed money I don't know how many people she borrowed money from and all of this, but she did whatever it took to where I told her once, she even asked me, sat me down before we even started going to the embassy. She's like, if you could go back to the U.S., would you want to stay here or go back? And I told her I'd want to stay.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? I became so accustomed to having her in my life and being there, I was fine with it. You know what I mean? I was fine with the struggle and, like, the tough times and whatever it was and the chores and the discipline. Like, I was fine. I was happy.
But then you don't really have a country, right? Because you're not a Jamaican citizen, right?
Yeah.
And
that was her thing. She was like, she saw more potential in me of what I could be, and she was like, you can't be who you need to be here.
Yeah.
So she pushed me. She's the reason I'm back in the U.S. It wasn't over my own. Like, I gave up on coming back like a year or 2 prior.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
already been there for
I'm
so
not
long.
coming back.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back. My mom succeeded in that. I'm fine with it.
Wow.
And she pushed for me to come back, and it was the most heartbreaking thing leaving, but it was the best thing that ever happened because, like, what's happening now. So, like, coming back to the U.S. was weird. They put me in, like, a hotel for, like, a month or whatever and whatnot. Told me, like, you can pay them back and because everything's, like, funded, but you still have to pay back the government and stuff like that.
It's fucked up. Like, they don't have
you just
like
fucking saved my life and sent me back. Now I got to fucking pay you back for all that.
Now you're in debt.
Yeah. I mean.
That's the American way, bro. Debt.
That's how they do it. So they put me in, like, and they weren't just saying, like, the passport. They were talking even, like, the boarding I had to pay back, which was, like, $800 a month. Oh, wow. And I'm just getting back to the U.S.
Yeah.
And they gave me, like, $100 in a bank account and then, like, $100 in EBT, like, food stamps. So I had, like, that and that.
Yeah.
And I don't know nothing about – remember, I've been in Jamaica for all these years. So for me, my mind – I'm still 18, but I have the mind of a fucking child still in some – like, I have some maturity when it comes to, like – it's weird. Like, growth and, like, observant of life, I have maturity. But, like, living as an adult and being responsible and whatever, I'm a fucking child.
Well, so all 18-year-olds are, dude.
You gave me an EBT card. I've been away from the U.S. for years. So that means I haven't had ice cream because ice cream's expensive in Jamaica. I haven't had cheeseburgers. I haven't had cookies. I haven't had hot dogs. So I had my ass straight down to a Winn-Dixie that's like walking distance. And I probably spent 80 out of the 100.
All on junk food.
And remember, I'm in a hotel, so I don't have a fridge. I have a little fucking fridge.
Yeah, a little mini fridge.
So I'm thinking, what can fit in there? So I remember buying a tray. It was the worst thing. There was nothing healthy in this motherfucker. It was like a box of ice cream sandwiches, Chips Ahoy cookies, chocolate milk, hot dogs, hot dog buns, because I had a little tiny stove thing.
Yeah.
I remember buying like a mini pan and whatever and whatnot, and I hauled ass all of that over there to the hotel.
Bro, I got all the major food groups.
Dude, I bashed that box of cookies, whatever, everything, and now it's come to bite me in the ass because I think over the time of consistently eating all that sugar, now I'm super sensitive to it. Like, if you give me a cupcake, I'll eat it, and I'll be like instantly.
You just feel it immediately.
I just feel like I can't even eat the rest of it.
You could be. Maybe you, like, overwhelmed your system.
That's probably what it is. But, I mean, like, I remember that. It was just like, I bet my diet was fucking bad.
I can only imagine, dude. I mean, like, it's kind of the first time you had, like, a true sense of freedom.
It was.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're in nobody else's house. Mm-hmm. Like, you're an adult, you're 18 years old, and now it's like, I'm in America, and like, fuck it, I'm balling.
Oh, I was. Man,
I got $200 on me right now.
I had the hot shot. I probably run that hotel's water bill up to the roof. Because in Jamaica, we only had cold water, so we didn't have hot water. Yeah, so I bathed in cold water for years.
So many benefits to that, though.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
But when I came back and I felt that warm water, man.
You just stood in the shower for
I literally just sat in there with the TV on, door open like this.
It's like we cool.
Just cool watching whatever I think it was like Raw was on, and I'm in the shower watching Raw.
Yeah.
Just the hot water run until it went cold, and I was like, yeah, I probably need to stop and get out of here.
Yeah, dude, if the water goes cold in the fucking hotel, you're using a lot of hot water.
Yeah, man, it was bad. Like I was just bawling, man. I was walking everywhere. I wanted to see everything.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy, man. It was my first actual like you said, a real taste of freedom. So for me, I was going everywhere.
Right.
I was in a weird spot in Miami because Miami is where I came back to.
Okay.
I was in a weird spot. It was like where all the central like the sky rail is, but there's all like these hotels around it, so there's not really much to see.
Miami is a weird city anyway.
Yeah, so I would have to take the sky rail, and I used to take the sky rail just to look.
Yeah.
Just to go back and forth. I remember the first thing I did was get a library card. Away from after I bought all that stuff, like the next day I got a library card, and I just started getting books.
Yeah.
Because I started reading, because that was another thing that I found again was reading. I've always been a reader, but then like I drifted away of it for a couple of years. But like once I got back here, I got bored of TV because like TV, that was something that stuck in me weirdly enough. But now it's like I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
But when I got back, it was still like I think it was the discipline fading away slowly to where I'd watch TV and then I'd automatically turn it off at a certain time.
It just wasn't routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. How long were you in Miami for?
I was in Miami. I got there in October and I left in November. So I was only there like a month and a half.
Okay.
Again, this time it was Miss Kerr. She has a family friend, like people that come down to stay with her whenever they come to visit Jamaica. They just stay in her house and whatever. They lived in Philadelphia, and she told them about me, and they were like, "Yeah, we can invite them up and whatnot." So I ended up living with them for a little bit, and then we parted ways. And then I was crashing on friends' couches because the reason why we parted ways, it was just personal stuff.
Yeah,
it was just personal.
So you've always been a bit of a drifter.
Oh, oof, man,
to say the least.
Yeah. In a sense of where I got up there, you know what I mean, I got work, and they started treating me right, you know what I mean, they would treat me well, and it was just personal issues, so we separated. I'm still connected to, like, a couple of them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I was crashing on a lot of friends' couches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was crashing on one here, then I was one here, and then one he would let me stay here for a certain amount of time, then I had to go to another one certain amount of time, and all this and that.
You're just making it happen, dude.
And during this time, no one ever knew, like, my living situation. And I think this is where, like, Jules' Kid Zim started to develop because I already had a goal in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I connected with my two best friends who are the founders of, like, the brand and the dance crew that I'm starting, Devin and Ian. And I met Devin because I got a job as a dancer for a bar mitzvah.
Okay.
So when I got there, they were like, yeah, we have this dancer. You guys will click well. Little did this guy know, hip-hop dancers are naturally enemies. Like,
oh, really?
if you tell us that we're going to go and compete against another guy dancer that's, like, in charge of the whole thing, and you're complimenting us at the same time, we're going to butt heads. So
there can't be no coexisting.
Yeah. So me and Devin's been told about me. I've been told about Devin going into this gig, and it's my first gig. And I look at this dude, and he's all muscular and buff. I'm like, this dude's definitely a crumper. You got the Timbs on and whatnot. And me, I'm just like the twins. I got the flannel. I got the J's. I got the wild out hair. So immediately, like, he told me what he was thinking. He was like, this fucking dude looks like one of the little twins, like a freestyler or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're immediately like, we're talking and working together because it's our job. But, like, when the part came where it's like we're on the dance floor, he's like, all right, we got a new dancer named Jules. Devin going to show him the ropes. And we started battling.
Oh, shit.
People were looking at it as entertainment. We were gunning at each other's throats.
Like, y'all going hard right now.
Oh, we were going hard. And then out of nowhere, how we became friends was he switched the song on us. And then it went from where the crowd started to move in, and we're still battling, but people think we are choreographing our moves together. Like, it looked choreographed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
And
the next thing you know, we're in sync, and we're just dancing together, like, and then we just became brothers after that.
Oh, I can dig it. Like, you guys shared energy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in your own form and fashion. Like, you guys just battled it the fuck out.
And then he connected me with Ian because we started talking about forming a dance crew.
Okay.
And then we formed Alien Mob. And that, for me, was the first start of, like, ownership and, like, actual drive to, like, create a purpose and find something. I think that's what solidified me, like, I want to be in entertainment. I want to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
I want to be able to perform. Like, I had my dance aspect, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know where I was going, but that kind of gave me some form of grounding.
Yeah.
regardless of where I was sleeping or resting my head at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I would go to work, make the money, do this so I could link up with these guys, plan a dance crew, plan a performance to get noticed to go wherever.
Because that's the purpose.
That's the purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you had the Alien Mob crew for a little bit, and then that kind of faded away, and now you're bringing it back?
What happened was I had Alien Mob, and we were getting pretty good traffic. Like, we had a couple interviews, we had a couple shows.
Yeah.
And to kind of give a backstory of what Alien Mob became to be, the reason why we chose the word alien is because what kind of diversified us. Kind of what the slogan is, like, unity through diversity.
Right.
So even though we were dancers, we all had different things away from us. Like we were saying earlier, human beings are complex. There's so much to us. Like,
yeah.
Ian was an amazing groover and like lucid person, but he's a yoga instructor. And he's a nursing student. Mm-hmm. Devin is hardcore crumper. You know what I mean? Boom, bang. He can pop. He's a Michael Jackson impersonator to a T.
Oh, for real?
Although he don't got the hair. All right.
Just so you know.
Just so you know. But with him, he's really into fitness, and like he used to teach to mentor like young kids. And for me, it was like I'm just this artistic person. And I'm just passionate about creating. So like there was a bunch of diversity and like things that separated us.
Yeah.
And we built a lot of momentum. Everybody wanted to be a part of our crew and whatnot. We competed in a couple 5-on-5s and stuff like that. And then what happened was, like you said, it started to fade out, except for like me, Devin, and a couple others. What happened was people that were saying they wanted to be a part of it, they didn't want to show up to rehearsals. They didn't want to be put in the exactly. They just wanted a part of the fame that came with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what happened was we took a step back. And during this time, like a month after this, my grandmother was going to find me on Facebook, my biological grandmother.
Oh, really?
Who hadn't seen me since I was like a child, way before like Brenda came in the picture, my mom and lost her mind and all of that type of stuff. But like during this time, the crew starts to fade away. And the people that stuck with us were like the fans, you know what I mean? The camera guy, like the people that weren't dancers. So like that alien side resonated with me. To where it's like, it's just different people that come together as a collective. And we were still doing a lot of damage. And then I reconnected with my grandmother. She wanted to fly me out for Easter. Went, saw her, reconnected with all the family.
Where's Grandma at? Because you're in Philly at this time, right?
I'm in Philly at this time.
Okay.
Grandma was in Florida.
Okay.
This is my mom's mom.
Got it.
So with all of that, flew me out and I reconnected with my uncle. Like as soon as I saw them, I broke down. Because I hadn't seen these dudes in years. And all my life, I've been told by my mom, they don't want nothing to do with me.
Complete opposite.
But they were searching for us this whole time. You know what I mean? I didn't know they were searching for all of us. They even went to the house. And when I was in Jamaica, my mom would tell them I'm in the house, but I don't want to see them.
Like this whole time, you had this whole support system you had no idea about.
So I'm growing up thinking like, fuck my family, fuck my whole genetic code.
Yeah.
And there's actually people out there looking for me.
Yeah, who actually love you and care.
So we reconnect, and then they talk about getting me into school, getting me to like the Miami Job Corps program to learn a trade. Since I don't have anything under my name, you know what I mean? It'd be good to have some credibility and stuff like that, learn a skill. And I said, all right, I'll think about it because I'm thinking about the crew. So I come back, I talk to the guys, and we were all deciding, was like, well, the crew's starting to die out a little bit. We're kind of all trying to like keep a grasp, but it's really draining us. I think what it is like, this was Devin's idea that we separate, build ourselves, and then over time come back together and just dominate.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest idea ever. So I went to Miami Job Corps, went to school there, learned computer science, all that nine stuff.
That's legit.
Yeah, came back, graduated. After that, moved up here because I was staying with my grandmother in Florida, but in her sewing room. She didn't have any room for me. But my grandfather, my mom's father, and his second wife, who is my grandmother here, who I live with now, had a place for me to stay. So they said, come up, and St. Louis was known for coding and computer because we had like launch code and all those programs. Yep. So it fit what I was studying.
That makes sense.
So I came up here, did all that, and started working at like a bowling alley and stuff. And that's where it was like I drifted away from computers. Like I like computer tech, don't get me wrong. I love it. I love doing that whole nine. But I drifted away from just science, the computer science in general. Like I felt like it was being forced upon me.
Yeah.
And I was just being stupid. But now looking back, like my grandmother calls me a very persistent person. Like I'm a person where I follow whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Till it works.
That's not a problem, really.
You know what I mean? And she says my downside, but also my benefit because like with what I'm doing now, it goes to show.
Yeah.
And she noticed with me, and she's noticing all these things I'm not noticing. Like at that time, I wasn't mature. I didn't know what I was. I was spending money that I got as soon as I got it. All this whole nine.
It's a lot of things you haven't learned.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. So I moved up here in 2000. and I think I've been here like 4 years. So I think it was like 2014, 2015.
How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay.
25. So
Oh, your brain just not fully developed.
No.
Yeah.
It does not yet.
when you're 25 or so.
I moved up here when I was like 21, I think. So
okay.
Been here for like 4 years, but did all that. There was a lot of back and forth with my grandmother. Like I used to. This is again where it's like I'm just ignorant. And I'm thinking she's just against my dreams. And when really, it's like you can't be mad at them because they're just looking out for you.
It's just love.
And then I got a living situation because this is where my grandmother, she just told me the truth this like a week ago. She's like, because I moved out. Got my own place with my best friend from my college roommate from Job Corps. Moved him up here, got him a job. Then he lost his job literally a day before we were supposed to move in. Then it just fell to shit. And my grandmother like was telling me like, I told you. And I didn't know she intentionally let me, because I kept telling her, no, I'll be able to handle living on my own.
She let you fail.
She let me fail. Because she knew what she was talking about. And it was good. It was good.
You knew that.
She knew the whole thing was going to fucking go up in smoke and I was going to be right back wherever.
That's how you learn.
And it did, because it showed me, one, a lot of true colors of people who I thought were like close to me, my friends and stuff, and then showed me those who are actually I can rely on and stuff like that. And then I moved back in with her after being there for a year. So I've been with her for like the past 2 years, paying off debts and stuff like that, getting myself situated. So that way when I move, I don't have these on me anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's helping me get that situated and whatnot. But during this time, I ended up working for S2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was like.
I worked for them in 2009, 2010.
Ooh. Yeah. I actually found that out. Like I didn't know that till like I started watching the Andy interview, because I've been watching a couple of your podcasts. Then I saw the Andy one. And then I saw you mention, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he kept saying, like, you know me, you're in the hiring process. I was like, oh.
Yeah, like, I've known Andy for a really long time.
Yeah.
So it's really weird because it's like, you don't know him. It's not like I'm not as fucking, like, we're not, like, texting and shit.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like he literally knows who the fuck I am, and I know who he is. Like, if we see each other, it's like, hey, what's up? Like, it's all love.
Yeah.
Like, I've known Andy for, like, over 10 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, for me, it was, because I knew who Andy Frisella was before I even moved to St. Louis.
Okay.
Because I used to watch, like, motivational speaking videos and whatever, and he was, like, one of my top 5.
He speaks so well, just with so much.
I just resonated with his rawness.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of, like, I resonated with. So when I moved up here, I knew nothing of this dude's fucking companies, though.
Oh, really?
So I only knew of him as a speaker. Like, I didn't research him. I just, like, watched his motivational videos.
Okay.
So, like, the compilations and stuff like
the very
that.
early
and then
days.
The speech, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, when I moved up here, and then I got the job at S2, I'm still like, okay, it's like, it says, oh, yeah, this is owned by Andy Frisella. I was like, oh, okay, couldn't be that fucking Andy. I'm like thinking, nah, it's not that Andy.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. And then I go to the fucking meeting, and it's fucking Andy.
It's Andy. Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. So that was my first time of like, oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And it kind of like resonated, and like I learned a lot over that time. Like I said, that definitely grew me, because they're very serious about growth and stuff like that.
The culture, whether it's first form or S2, it's like it's a very uniform culture. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, it was like that definitely shifted me in a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people around me started to notice. So when people around me started to notice, that's when because I'm a person where I don't like to fully observe myself and give a label to myself. Like people like to say, oh yeah, I look good, or yeah, I'm better now than I was before. Like, I believe in that, you know what I mean? But if I say it for like a self-confidence reason. It doesn't necessarily mean I believe it. So it's kind of weird, because like when I became like, people used to tell me when I got older, I should be a model. You're gorgeous. You have this facial structure. And for me, I always grew up as a nerd. So I'm always thinking like, what the fuck do you really want? Like, there's an end goal here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm
like
thinking on
trying to
some
get
BS.
Something from you. Yeah.
So like, even like as of like even a couple, like last year when I'd be like, oh yeah, I look good, and I post it, people think I'm being cocky or whatever, when really I'm saying that so I believe it.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, you're not like trying to be arrogant. You're really trying to convince yourself. It sounds like.
Yeah. So I usually grab a lot of things. I like to wait till other people say things, and then examine after what they're saying. So like people's like, hey, I noticed you're really into your fitness thing, or you're really developing. Like, then I'm like, huh, okay. My friend said that. My grandmother said that. All right, let me really observe now. And then I actually noticed a growth myself.
Oh.
And then after I observed it and realized it, that's when I started actually really pay key and note attention, and to really start buckle down on it a bit.
Yeah, it's hard to see change from the inside.
It is.
Right.
It really is. And so for me, it's like having that support system around me of people that I didn't even know genuinely pay attention to me like that kind of helped to let me know what's going on.
That also kind of lets you know, like, it's like, oh, I didn't realize such and such were paying attention. And then you're like, man, I have more influence than I realized. Like, holy cow.
And I'm starting to realize if this now more than ever where I'm at now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going into like after everything, like the whole flux from S2, then having to leave, and then First Form, and those two companies, like as a whole, what I learned there climax and flourished a lot of things where I'm at now.
Yeah, you'll continue to build off of those lessons.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think the beauty of like all the shit that you've been through, and we've only probably like scratched the surface.
Oh yeah,
really.
I've skipped and filtered like there's a
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we probably is like so many people you see are like they have this fear of moving to a new city or you're scared of the uncertainty, but you've dealt with so much uncertainty like your whole life that I mean, you at least have the perspective of like I can go to any city anywhere and not really have anything, and I can still make something happen there.
Oh yeah,
right.
And I think for me, I have. You know what I mean? Like Philly, I made a name for myself when I didn't have anything. You know what I mean? Like
right. Well, you've done it. That's what I'm saying. Like you've gone to cities where you haven't, like you don't know anybody.
No.
You don't really have anything there, and you're still able to make at least something happen, right? And so many people fear that. That's why you see people don't even leave. Like they never leave their hometown, or they don't go anywhere.
I think for me, it wasn't even like a sense of fear of going to somewhere new. It was me for searching for a home, honestly.
Yeah, you're just trying to find somewhere to belong.
It was searching for a place of belonging, or even trying to see what's out there. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, even though I'm better off than where I was 5 minutes ago, this isn't where I want to be, and I'm still not comfortable.
Yeah.
Which I'll never be comfortable. But I mean, like, it's a sense of like when I was in Florida, I went to Job Corps. I was like, cool, I want to go elsewhere. Now where am I at next? Now I'm in St. Louis. You know what I mean? And same when I was in Jamaica and I came to the U.S., I was in Miami, and I was in Philly. I was fine with where I was staying, but I felt limited. So I found my friends, and I was fine with crashing on couches. And during all this time, like, of all those things of exploring, I was trying to find somewhere to ground myself.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a specific place, so I tied it to, like, the alien mob, to a specific purpose.
Yeah.
And that took me to all these other places in some way or form.
Okay.
You know what I mean? With, like I said, alien mob took me to building my name in Philly, and then me being found on Facebook, and then me discussing with my friends what should happen next, because this is my purpose, is this crew and performing.
Yeah.
So let me run it by them what the decision should be next. And they said, you should go to Miami, build that. So now my next purpose is go to Miami, focus on this, get out, and then figure out what's next.
Right.
And of course the purpose drifted, but it was like always the end goal was to be some form of entertainer or something like that. I love to entertain people because I feel like entertainment is one of the best ways to help someone get through something. If you never know what someone's going through, so if you can make them laugh, smile, giggle, that one just spark of joy can spark hope, can spark happiness, can spark optimism.
Yeah.
You never know. And it's so many possibilities to where, say this person's literally thinking of like jumping off a bridge.
Yeah.
But you randomly be like, hey, you look good today. Randomly. I used to have a competition with my friend Tracy when we used to go to the mall to visit. We'd see who can give out the most compliments and receive a genuine compliment back.
I can dig it.
Or something, or even a girl's number, quote unquote, back.
That's a compliment.
And we used to just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like I just randomly made it a thing to make 5 people smile a day.
Okay.
And I still do it to this day. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
And it's just a thing over time because that's what I benefited from.
Yeah.
And I know that's what got me through a lot. Like gaming and entertainment were the two things that got me through my very suicidal stage. In Jamaica, I was very suicidal. I tried to kill myself 4 times.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. One, I tried to bash my head. I literally have like a dent, like a slight scar from like trying to bash my head in. One time I jumped, like fell backwards off the top of a house, and I just fractured my shoulder. Now my right shoulder's kind of messed up.
Damn, dude.
It was a bunch of stuff, but like I remember what got me through it was like when I wasn't home, if I was at school, I looked forward to dance all day to just be free. When I was home and there was a lot going on in my head and I was misbehaving and I needed an escape from like the clashback, which I deserved, but at the same time, I'm still like in my head like the world's against me.
Yeah.
I remember there was this little SP, Game Boy ASP with a light that you'd flip up that I hid under my pillow so no one could find it. And then late at night, I'd go in the closet, pop it open, and be playing Pokemon Ruby.
Yeah.
All night. Into like school day.
Pokemon's the shit, bro.
Yeah, I'm still playing. I still got the new one.
I see that, dude.
Like it's a game where like it's my favorite game of all time because it has that tie to me.
Yeah.
And gaming and dance and performing, just those two things, entertainment as a whole, just helped me through so many times to where I want to give back in that way. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I want to be able to travel and speak and teach people and stuff like that. But for me, I think like bringing joy to someone can spark so much.
Like that's your ultimate purpose.
Yeah.
I can dig that,
and
man.
I know it. You know what I mean? Like I've tried to, and me trying, the reason why I got fired from First Form was me, because I was so focused on, once I started to refine that purpose, I was so focused on like building the gaming
on
thing.
that. Yeah.
And there's nothing, like I said, nothing against them. It was like, this is all my fault because my focus shifted, so I didn't care less about the actual job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like showing up, being on time, paying attention to detail.
Well,
like
your
I'm supposed
priorities
to.
shifted, right?
Exactly.
So you guys just went down different paths. There's no.
So, and they knew that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
all
not like
good.
they didn't want to keep me. They literally told me it was like a thing where you have to be fair to the other employees.
Right.
Which at the end of the day was. And I accept it. Like I tell everybody, like I said, did a whole video explaining that
Yeah,
the other
watch
day.
that. Yeah.
Because people kept asking me, like, are you still with First Form? Are you still with First Form? Because I built a name for myself around that. Like the First Form Black Panther. I got something to say. The whole
Dude, those are fucking hilarious. I got something to say.
Like the whole, all of those, and I think over time, my true purpose started to fly itself back out. So like I drifted to the media, I drifted to the solely fitness, but then it started to be the fitness to the Black Panther persona, which is comedic and entertaining.
Yeah.
And then it was like the videos, but then it would be gimmicky where I'm dancing in the middle of it or whatever. Like it always tied back to it. So I just finally accepted this is what my purpose is. This is where I belong. This is what I need to do. And now my job is literally like I'm a host for 2 esports shows a day.
So dope, dude.
You know what I mean? Like I'm part of a stream team that we're working on. I'm part of the creative team. Like I'm their first signed in-house talent with the company that I'm with.
That's dope. It's like all your passions.
Yeah,
right.
And like people are like, "Oh, you made it now." Like, sure, I get paid to literally talk and live and revolve around video games, but this is just this is just the key.
This is just one
This
step.
is just the key. Like I'm not even at the door yet. I'm just like I got the key and I'm at the first step. I still got to get up to the door to unlock it. You know what I mean?
Some more shit. Yeah.
Like I'm not stopping with this, and in a sense where it's like even the team that I had when we were building the whole gaming fitness thing, talking to them, they even noticed like I'm better outside here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, looking at this, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hate when people just live free will and be like, oh, just go wherever life takes. No, grab fucking control of the fucking shit.
Yeah, you got control.
Because I've done that for a little bit. And when I fucking did that, shit went like completely elsewhere.
Yeah, man, you got to have some sort of like mission or something to drive you.
Like you can't control every little aspect.
No, there's a lot you can't.
Control what the
Most
hell
of it you
you're
can't.
doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And make sure if you're doing something, if you don't have a purpose, find one.
100%.
That's the first thing I would tell you. Like if you wake up in the morning or wake up every day and you're just like, the fuck am I doing in my life? But you still go through the motions, that needs to tell you right there you need to find something.
Yeah.
And that means find out who you are. So over this time, I've found out who I am.
Yeah.
I know I'm an entertainer. I'm an entertainer. And whether that's gaming, whether that's dancing, whether that's comedy, my purpose here is to entertain people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, educate and show them, like, I want to do talks like this. You know what I mean? To show them, like, you can do both. You know what I mean? You can be this side. You can be this fitness. You can be this gamer. You can be this dancer. And there's literally nothing under the sun you can't do.
Right.
But once you know what it is, just pursue it.
Yeah. A lot of people get stuck on, like, titles and, like, they start to get wrapped up in this identity that they create for themselves that you get pigeonholed. You're like, well, I'm this, so I can't also be this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you see the athlete who also wants to do some sort of artistic thing. It's like, what are you doing, man? You're fucking awesome at basketball. You can't also be good at like rapping too. Like, what are you doing? It's like I can be good at all of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and pursue all that passion.
Yeah, and for me, that's what the whole purpose of Alien Mob came to be. It was like,
and you're gonna like revitalize Alien Mob, right?
Yeah, it's being revitalized. Like I did a whole drop where I did like a little glitch thing, whatever. But
I saw that.
The whole revamp of it is to where I realized like the dance crew consisted of more than just dancers, and that always sat with me. And I observed over time to where the brand that I want to represent is like right now we have a bunch of people that are in a Call of Duty group and a bunch of people that do this, and then we have a design team. Like we have all these things, but the key part, like I tell everybody, is like don't ever think you have to stay in this group. You can cross whatever. Like human beings are so complex, and if you don't stick to the niche that you're good at right now, you're seen as an alien. You're alienated. You're seen as weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I was a dancer and I started introducing gaming content, people were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
When I did fitness, people were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
I love the fitness gaming thing that you're doing.
You know what I mean? And for me, it's like, that's telling me I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Because too many people fall by the norm.
Yeah.
And the norm hasn't gotten anybody anywhere.
No, just sheep.
You know what I mean?
Get you anywhere.
Exactly. So if you're a norm, you're just following. And for me, it's like, I want to be a voice, and that's why I created the brand, was to give people a voice and a crest and an emblem, like a flag, to let them know, like, you can be whatever you want to be. Like, you don't have to be stuck to one thing. Human beings are too complex to be stuck to one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when people are like, oh, I want to do all this stuff, now there's a lesson to be taught into that. From my experiences, I'm a jack of all trades. I can rap, sing, dance, DJ, and all these things I'm saying I've done. You know what I mean? Like, I've DJ'd, I've MC'd, like all of this stuff.
Model, all that shit.
You know what I mean? Comedy. I haven't done stand-up yet, all this whole 9 or whatever. Teach, dance. I've done a lot of stuff. But there's a downside to being so talented is you have no skill set.
Right. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. So for me, I had to realize, like, what am I passionate about? What's going the most for me right now? What can I focus on? And then once that's built enough for itself to where it's just continuously going for itself, pick up something else. And that's how you have to do it. Like, people are very impatient, especially my generation.
Patience is key.
Is very impatient.
Takes
So for me,
time.
like, it took me a while. I had a downfall in all of these things. So, like, I did DJing, then I sucked at it. Then I did rapping, and I was sucking at it. Like, all of these, even with dance, like, I'm good at dance. You know what I mean? I'm not the best dancer, but I didn't see as much success as I could because it wasn't my full priority at the time. I was doing like 20 other things.
Yeah, you gotta like give it its full due.
Exactly. So
patient.
Like right now, it's like I've learned like you can master 1 to 3 things, depending how it is. For me, fitness is a lifestyle, so it's becoming what's disciplining me to be able to do the fitness and the gaming.
It'll make everything else better.
Exactly. Yeah. So like it's a core ground, and then dance is something that I already have enough influence in to where now I'm just revisiting it and doing it in moderation because I've already focused on it for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now gaming is something I'm picking back up, and it's just those 3 things. Modeling, like, for me is,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's just point and shoot. It's not that easy. Of course, like, you still have to pose and sit. But I mean, like, for me, it's like if my body looks good and then my persona and my other aspects are good, modeling would be
The
good.
other things will feed that pretty easily.
So that's how it has to work. Like, I'm not, like, even though I post, like, freestyle videos on my story, that's just practice.
Yeah, you're just having fun.
I'm just practicing, having fun. So, like, whenever I'm ready to focus, it's not like I'm picking it up after not rapping or freestyling for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's slowly building that craft. Like, you can practice and mess around with other things as long as it's not compensating or taking away from your priority of what you got going for you right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like with a test. Like, if you have a math test and you have a reading test coming up, and then you also have a spelling bee, but the spelling bee is Friday, the math test is until Tuesday, and then the other one is until Wednesday. Focus on your spelling bee 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah,
and
you
then
gotta
other days
prioritize.
other times you can maybe for 30 minutes work on the math. You know what I mean? Kind of like that.
No, for sure.
Just kind of have to see it.
Yeah, dude. Well, hey, man, you got a lot of cool shit you're working on, man. It's fucking exciting to see.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been an hour. Like, it flew by.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much more we could talk about, but we'll maybe have to do like a round 2 sometime. Like, this has been great.
I love to, man.
Dude, tell the people how they can like check you out. Any place you want to direct them to, if you have sponsors or anything like that, dude.
All my social media. All my social media is literally the same. It's KidZim, K1D. Z1M, that's my YouTube, that's my Twitch, that's my TikTok, that's my Instagram, that's my Snapchat, that's my Twitter.
He's
I'm
on it all.
I'm on all of them. Some more than others.
What's your preferred? I'm gonna put them all in the show notes, but I'm just curious.
My preferred is probably my Instagram and my Instagram and my YouTube.
Okay.
Because they're my biggest platforms and they're my most engaging.
Okay.
My YouTube is like where my dance reactions at, my dance videos, and my Instagram is just where everyone can see who KidZim is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's one of the best platforms to showcase all of that stuff, especially with the more like the IGTV and all of that type of stuff. So that's where you can find me mainly for sure. Definitely. So check me out.
Right on. Any other brands or anything like that you want to shout out, or are you good?
Alien Mob for sure. Like, we haven't released anything yet, but we're in the works. Like I said, check it out. We're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming.
I saw a little bumper video you posted, so that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice little teaser.
I literally came up with it because I was like, I'm very intricate with putting things in people's subconscious and mind to where, like, you see it again later, you're like, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. It's short. It's simple. It's like.
That's how you have to do it.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, we're coming.
Right on, dude. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Thanks again, dude. I appreciate it.
Honored, man.
All right, everybody. Until next time.